Big.
In or out, it's your call.
There's no ref here.
That's on us.
Decisions like these are about trust.
That's spirit, not a slogan.
But to be fair,
Even when the game is on the line.
It's not easy.
Sometimes it gets intense.
Because spirit keeps the game bigger than the point.
Bigger than the call.
bigger than me,
It's how I know I can go all out.
and trust my opponent will too.
It's not just rules, it's respect.
Because when you respect the call,
You respect the player.
It's every decision you make.
Every conversation, every point.
It's the reason I compete at my best.
And when I have to make the call,
in or out,
I'll call it honestly.
because spirit is the standard.
And we don't play below it.
Good morning. We are here at Newton Athletic Park in Surrey, British Columbia for the senior women's final where we have Traffic from British Columbia versus Remix from Alberta. My name is Catherine Fatin and I'm here with Habiba Tala. Before we get started, we're going to do a little land acknowledgement, and we'd like to acknowledge that we are on the Coast Salish with the Semiyamu, Katsi, Quickwetlem, Quantlem, Kikite, and Swawasan.
I'm really looking forward to this game, Katrin. We have seen two undefeated teams rise up to the finals of the women's final here, and I'm hoping to see who is going to stop this Traffic offense. I mean, we have seen them pretty much be quite unstoppable on the O-line. They have such great chemistry together, so I'm curious to see how Remix comes out here on defense.
On your screen here, on your right, you have Traffic in dark, and on your left, you have Remix in light. Remix is on defense, pulling to Traffic.
This is a chance for Remix to end the BC sweep that is going on right now. We had Furious George win gold. We have some BC teams in the mixed finals, so Remix having a challenge up on their shoulder.
Stanley with the pull to start off the tournament. Pull here just rolling out, so it will be taken on the sideline. We have Rockcliffe here with the disc. Seeing a person defense from Traffic start off. Traffic looking up line to Ofstas. Ofstas looking up line, catching it to Mason. Mason with the disc here in the center. And just a little bit too much power on that disc, causing a turnover.
Pressure defense from Remix. A maintain possession is a huge break opportunity for them to start this game.
Ganley here looking for her bail. And it's intercepted here by Traffic. Rockcliffe with the disc in the middle. Pops it off to Tuckerberry Giddens. And it is a turnover. So we have Ganley here picking up the disc to the end zone line. We're seeing a horizontal. Sends it up to Si Chong. Tian looking up line back to Si Chang. And a great grab there by Ganley up in the air. Ganley looking to center it. And shoots it in the end zone. And it's just a little bladey there for Dressel. And it's caused a turnover.
You know, if you're a Remix right now, you're making the offensive line of Traffic run. You know, you're giving them a little bit of bang for their money. You're gassing them out. So you're happy playing defense in this red zone.
Rocklow starting with the disc here. And Mason here with the disc in the middle. Shoots it up line for Offstas to run onto. And Offstas hucking it to the end zone. And just above the line. And Traffic shoots and scores to Jones. Oh, there may be a call. There was a travel call called by Remix. So we just have our observer here letting us know that they're going to have a little bit of a discussion between them.
Side note, I absolutely love the Catherine Menzies cross-field backhand huck. We absolutely know she's able to shoot very far, very accurately, very reliable hucks here.
Uncontested travel call. The disc will be starting at the end zone line with Churchland. And she sends it up to Jones for that layout point, and that is the first point for Traffic.
Lots of pressure generated by Remix. Traffic, of course, able to punch it in the end. Not with a lot of, not with as much composure as we've seen, but this is the first point of the game. Pressure is on, nerves are up, and hopefully they shake off this rust with this first 0 point. So solid hold from Traffic here. And curious to see again the Remix O-line coming out here. I did get a chance to see them in the previous game, but I heard that they were going to perhaps make some changes, perhaps get a little bit of different matchups here. And hopefully they come out with the same fire that Traffic did.
We have Wager here who will be pulling for Traffic.
Huge pull from Wager.
Bennett's catching the pull, centering it here to Ho. Ho finding the hole there to Orson. Orson setting up line and just a little too high there for Whitehead. Wager picking up the disc. Looking at her upline option there. Ho picking up the disc here on the sideline. And she sends it up line there for Bennett. Bennett looking for her option downfield to Whitehead. Back to Ho in the middle. Ho sends it back to Whitehead. Whitehead looking at her cutters downfield. And it is intercepted there by O'Reilly. We've got McJanet here who's picking up the disc. She sends it up to wait. And O'Reilly catches the long huck there. Pops it back to Nielsen. Nielsen right above the end zone line in the middle. Sends it back to McJanet. McJanet is looking for her end zone option. She's looking for Wager. Sends it up to Wager. And Wager catches it with the layout. And she pops it off to Nielsen for Traffic's second point. and that is a break.
What an incredible layout from Rachel right there, saving that disc and going with the offhand lefty to the front cone. That is how you get it done to get this break. I think the nerves are finally out, right, Kat?
Absolutely. I'm loving Traffic's flow in that last point. It seemed like the players really connected really well and can anticipate where everyone was going and where the throws were going as well.
You had McJanet and Nielsen really being the anchors on the defensive offense from Traffic. And we've seen them do pretty much that all week. Remix, on the other hand, showing that they have been able to walk up the field, up to the red zone, and perhaps is the chance that they have to clean things up and punch in their first point. You can hear the crowd cheering right now. Traffic showing some energy. If they can get another break to really put this game in a 3-point lead, this is going to be a mountain to climb for Remix.
Alrighty, we've got Richard there on the sideline, passing back to Orston.
A little bit of a zone look.
Wong with the disc, centering it back to Ho. Ho looking for her to Whitehead. Whitehead punches it up the line with just too much power there. McJanet picking up the disc, centering it to Ofstes. Ofstes looking backfield and just a little bit out of the reach there for Chem. Orston shooting it upfield. Just too much power there for Whitehead to reach. McJanet walking up to the disc. Fun fact, McJanet was a TCU 20 for the women's. Wong with the disc, sending it up line to Ofstes. Ofstes popping it back to the middle there to Wong. McJanet here. A round throw to Ofstes. And Ofstes with the huck downfield to the end zone with Sai running onto it and just catching it out of reach.
That was Robin Bosniak going up to place a lot of pressure on that catch. Both players having to go up.
Ho here with starting with the disc. Sending it there to the sideline to Wong. Wong to Richard. And Whitehead here with the disc on the sideline. She's looking for her around. Sends it back to Richard. Richard's looking for her options. She's going around back to Orston. Orston's looking downfield and unable to connect with her handlers and sending it for her bail cut to Ho. Ho sends it in, and Terry Whitehead catches the first point for Remix.
Tremendous focus from Whitehead, seeing the crossfield Blady forehand coming down. You had the defender try to make a play on it, but great focus to reel that in right in the breadbasket.
I'm finding sometimes a lot of teams struggle when they're stuck on a sideline. What is a way or trick that you teach your or coach your athletes to get out of that stuck sideline?
I think it's very situational. I think in a situation where you are on the sideline and the stall count is rising, if they've wrapped and really taken away the backfields to your reset, it's a great opportunity to, again, take your pivot out, see what happens on the swing side or the far sideline, or you can look deep to see if you can, like, for example, here, hit a crossfield shot. So many options. It depends who the thrower is, depends what they have in their arsenal of throws. It depends what they like to do. And so any way to get out of the line in a creative way, always fun to see.
Bernard here with the pull for Remix. Two with the disc, centering it to Rockcliffe. Popping it over to Mason.
Beautiful high release.
And Mason hucks it in the end zone. And just a little too far for Vuong, but a great bid by Vuong.
Well, Menzies almost getting a piece of that, and now you get a great opportunity for Remix to tie this game up.
Remix looking for their around option, setting up a line to Ty, and Ty hucks it there for Chen to run, and looked like she had a finger on it, and it was just denied by Traffic. Wager with the disc here, handing it over to Chan. Chan centering it to Freeland. Freeland to Churchland. Churchland sending it up the line with a finger by two, but it's knocked out. Ty picking up the disc here for Remix on the sideline. Ty hucks it deep. She's looking for...
That's a wonderful defensive play from Traffic. You had the defender on the far side peel and help, so creating a double team on the offensive player.
Mason centering it to two. Two looking back to Mason. Mason sending it up to Rockcliffe. Rockcliffe with a huck. Looking for Freeland in the end zone. And it is denied by our Gendelman from Remix.
And we see the exact same thing that Traffic tried to do on the last offensive point for Remix, is having that extra defender get out of their defensive marking to help deep. And that was a double team there, and very hard to make a grab over two people.
Bernard is with the disc. She sends it up line. She's looking for Bernard again. Bernard looking to pop it back to Ty. Ty sends it up line to Chan. Resends it to Ty. Wang flipping the side of the field to Feng. And Feng sends it up line, and with a hand by two by Traffic is turned over. And Traffic is calling a timeout, and we're just confirming the stall count, and it was at stall 1.
I think a really good timeout by Traffic. This is a situation where, you know, your O-line's been out here for a while. You're kind of getting gassed here. Remix putting a lot of pressure, so this is a way to just reset, make sure that you do punch in and get the job done.
And do you feel like, and out of curiosity, with a timeout like this, what kind of defense, would you change your defense?
If I was Remix, I would take a look at what's been working. And I've seen teams before set up a trap or set up a zone on a sideline situation like this. I've also seen situations in which they trust their match defense. I have even seen some poaches in the lanes. So really they're going to go with what they like to do. You know, what is their strength here and what's going to come out to give them that disc right back.
You got a little nod of approval from Remix here on the sideline.
Perfect.
So we're going to have offense here set up, and now we're going to have our defense here set up.
And for those who don't know, active observers, they are letting the offense know that you need to freeze and set 20 seconds for the defense now to set their defensive set. So again, everything is timed here. Observers are keeping everybody on clock.
2 will be starting with the disc, and the disc will come in on stall 1. Up the line to Mason. Mason center looking up line to Menzies. Flipping back to Mason. And switching the field to Takaberry, who sends it up line to Churchland. And that is the point for Traffic. It is currently 3-1 for Traffic against Remix.
off of the timeout, just getting the long upline, about like a 25-yard upline on this sideline, and then actually Hannah Ty doing a great job of corralling and taking away the far side throw. However, we had a lefty flick, so a little bit more of an extension there to get the job done in the end zone here.
So just a little shout out earlier, we mentioned some TC names on traffic, but we also have Terry Whitehead, a legend in Canadian Ultimate, very speedy and great catches, but also who played for Team Canada as well.
Also loving the team mantra by Traffic is heart, fire, desire. Right? I'm a big fan of teams having a mission or philosophy or sort of a statement that they have in the beginning of the season. This allows players to focus on a common theme, a common goal, and you live by those standards, you live by those values, and that's what makes being on a sports team so great.
Disc landing in and then rolling out. It'll be taken here at the sideline with Bennett. Bennett sending the up line there for Ho. Ho to Cooksey. And just a turnover. McJanet will be picking up the disc to start. To Bushamai. Bushamai back to McJanet. And McJanet looking for the hook in the end zone. And a beautiful, got a hand on it from Traffic, but just a little too high for O'Reilly there.
Again, more pressure from the defense surrounding offensive players in the end zone.
So starting with the disc on offense. She's looking for Whitehead. Whitehead centering it there to Bosniak. Bosniak looking at Cooksey in the middle and just with a drop. We've got Clay looking to Quinn, and Quinn sending it a Scuba?
I think it was hand blocked, or at least tipped.
Poe starting again here. To Wong. Wong is looking for her downfield option, now looking at her bail. And there may be a bit of a call here. So it looks like it was an uncontested.
It doesn't seem like there was a
No
call. I
call.
think just actually players just checking that they were okay. Both of them were all right. They got up and was a play on there.
And that's the best kind of spirit we like. Wager here with the disc. She centers it there to Boshamai. Boshamai back to Wager. And Wager shooting it up, and with O'Reilly catching that for the 4th point for Traffic in the end zone.
The high arcing flick when realizing Traffic, nobody around you. I'm going to take my time to make this grab, go up with one hand, and secure that catch.
Oh, are we looking at a timeout here?
Yeah, got a Remix huddle in the middle here, and Traffic also probably doing the same thing. Observers are signaling timeout from Remix.
So just some more shout outs here. So none of the roster from Remix was on Team Canada 2026. However, we have Emily Bennett, who went to the WBUC, the World Beach Ultimate Championships in 2025 for women's in Portugal and at Portimao, Portugal. And then we have also Karis Fung and Amanda Ho, who played the WBUC 2025 Mixed Masters, and Terry White, who played WBUC Women's Masters.
That was an absolutely wonderful tournament. Different format too, right? You have to realize that playing on the sand is completely different from playing on turf or grass. You have to change the way that you cut, change the way that you move, and it's great that Canada's also giving a lot of opportunities for teams to play on the beach with the Canadian Beach Ultimate Championships happening and having more tournaments that are highlighting beach play.
Isn't the best part? You run so hard and then you get to go for a swim right after.
Yeah, just be able to jump in the water after a couple of games.
A real cool down, literally.
If I'm Remix right now, I'm just going to tell my O-line, hey, we know we can walk it up. We know we have the legs to get the offense moving. If you punch this in, you just got to put as much pressure as you can on defense, but there's still so much time in this game that no doubt that Remix is going to start keeping the flow going. I did see a couple of zone looks from Traffic in the attacking brick side. Just a little bit of different looks. They maybe perhaps want to stop any of the Remix pull plays. Maybe they just want to slow the game down and really lock down on the cutters in the half central zone.
Great pull by Wager. We have Bernard telling Orston that she wants her in there in the middle. Orston looking downfield, finding Bosniak. Bosniak finding Ho. Then recentering it to Fung, who sends it then to Ganley. And there is a pick call. And we just have our players going back to where they were when the pick was called. And Ganley starting with the disc.
You can see Coach Derek Chung on the sideline just directing a little bit of the defense for Traffic, making sure we get this D back.
Ganley shoots it up to Whitehead. And there is a stall down called at the time that Ganley threw the disc. Now, can you explain stall downs to those at home?
So when you say the T of 10 and the disc is still in possession, still in your hands, you have the hand signal where the hand goes on top of the head. That is a stall out call, okay? And so if it is uncontested, play is tapped onto the ground from the defensive player, play is live, and then everyone else gets to be able to set up after that. If the play is contested, it is coming in at a maximum stalling 8 in that situation. I kind of find that the funniest hand signal because normally kids these days are putting their hand on their heads for head top, but no, really it does mean stall down. So hand signals are important.
Uncontested stall down. And we have Wager here from Traffic that is going to be starting. Sends to McJanet. And just out of the hands of
So
McJanet
much pressure
there.
on that.
Ho picking up the disc on the sideline. She's looking to center it here to Ganley. Another pick call. We have the disc coming in at stall 5. Ganley to Orston. Orston looking at her cutter options and instead is looking for Ganley up line with a great grab in the air. And Ganley hucks it deep. And it's just out of reach with Nielsen grabbing that out of the air.
Fantastic grab by Nielsen going all the way up to her highest point.
McJanet recentering there to Nielsen. Nielsen being an option there for Ty. Ty back with the disc and sending it with a great jump from Ofstas, but there is, I think, another pick call.
Yeah, looking like Remix Defender wasn't able to get there from an obstruction in the stack.
Ty will be starting with the disc coming in at stall 3. We're just making sure that all players are ready and going back to where they were when the pick was called.
Looking like Bosniak and Nielsen just figuring that out and going back to the reset space.
Ty telling McJanet to go to the sideline and sending it up to Nielsen. And Nielsen looking for back to McJanet. McJanet looking up the line into the hands of Jones, but is dropped. Ho starting here with for Remix. Sends it up line to Orston. Orston's looking at her cutters and trying to find Terry Whitehead there and finds Ho. Sending it to Bennett, and Bennett sending it up line to Fung. Fung centers it to Terry Whitehead. Pops it back to Bauer. Then to Orston. And Orston hucking it deep to Terry Whitehead, who's just above that end zone line. Pops it back to Fung. And Fung looking for someone in the end zone as an option. And pops it over into the hands of Ganley. And that is Remix's second point of the game.
That is a beautiful around throw. Knowing that the mark is there, quite flat, big arms. However, we're just going to put a little bit of touch on this. We're going to have a nice, huge angle to get to the front cone of that end zone. I also want to applaud Terry Whitehead resetting the disc, but then just taking off deep, making it incredibly hard for the defense to cover somebody who was just throwing a dump, and now you're flat-footed, and I'm just going to put my head down and go deep and go get that huck.
The score is now 4-2 for Traffic, and Remix with 2. Now, this is a really exciting game because, again, as we mentioned earlier, both teams have gone through this whole tournament on just wins.
Absolutely, and this is the point for Remix that they wanted to stay within that sort of gap, right? That 1 to 2 point deficit. This is where you can put a lot of pressure. There's not a lot of wind right now on the turf. It's also not really hot, so players are not feeling like they're too gassed out on the turf as we'd seen earlier in the games here at CUC. So this is just perfect crisp weather in BC right now.
We've been very lucky. I think this is the first UC, I won't jinx it, where we haven't had any cancel days.
Too late, you jinxed it.
He's in here with the disc for Traffic. Setting it up line there to Menzies. Menzies to Kwok. And just threw it a little too low there for her teammate. Ganley looking to pick up the disc. She sends it up line to Dressel. Dressel was looking for that big. And just a little too much power there. We have a quick transition with Takaberry Giddens. Finding Mason. Mason looking for the around. Sends it up line to Menzies. And Menzies is shooting it to the end zone. Denied by Martin.
Great recognition from Remix. Seeing that huck develop and seeing that we're just going to catch up to our offensive player here and get up and make that play on the front cone.
Ganley here with the disc. Sends it up line to Grimard.
Good communication by the teammates there.
Here back to Si Chang. Si Chang centering it. And Dressel here looking for a deep option. Sends it back to Ganley here in the middle. Ganley looking for someone deep, and we sends it to Grimard. Into the hands of Si Chang. And back to Grimard. And it is dropped. We have Takaberry Giddens starting here for Traffic. Pops it back to Rockcliffe. Rockcliffe sending it to Kwok, who catches it in a beautiful bid. Up the line to Mason. Mason looking for to who sends it deep in the end zone across the field, and it is grabbed and scored by, we're just looking for their number. Well, for Traffic, and that is a hold, and that is the 5th point for Traffic. I love that cross break backhand.
Absolutely. Wonderful concentration to get up and make a play, even with the defender in your inside positioning right in front of you. You know you're going to have to come up early if you're behind a player and make a play with one hand. So way to secure that disc.
So it's 5-2, and Remix is able, you can see that they are able, they have a great flow and everything. What are some things that you would say as a coach to Remix to help them just finish that last second, their last point? Because it always seems right above that end line.
I mean, probably coming together as a D-line offense, and they've shown that they're generating turnovers. You know, Traffic's turning it over. And as soon as Remix picks it up, as long as they continue to clean up the execution and hit their targets, hit their players right in the chest, and ensure that their cutters are aware of what kind of defense Traffic is running, I think they're absolutely going to keep hanging in this game. They've shown that they can get the turns. It's all about the conversions. So now Remix coming back here on 0.
Ho here with the disc. Sending it back field to Bennett. Back to Ho. Ho looking for Bennett. Sends it back. Bennett to Terry Whitehead. Terry Whitehead looking back to Ho, who centers it. Whitehead looking for an option down Edmonton and Calgary. That explains the whole remix. As neither city had enough women matching players to form a team. And then since then, they played together as Alberta's women's team, practicing in their respective cities, and then meeting up multiple times throughout the summer for training camps.
Absolutely. Way to put different cities and provinces on the map here at CUC. We'd love to see the variety. I was doing a stream with Shane about AFC Beef, who recently rebranded, formerly known as Whiskey Jacks. And you had also Thunderbirds rebrand as the formerly known Phoenix. So I was telling him that, hey, is this the year of the rebrand? We're just seeing so many different team names right now, and it's nice to see some variety here at CUC.
Forston here with the disc to Ho. Ho here in the middle. Looking for a deep option, popping it back to Genley. Setting it up the line into the hands of Bernard. Bernard looking to Bauer. Bauer setting it up to Ganley. Ganley here right above the end zone line. Looking for an end zone look and into the hands of Whitehead, scoring the 3rd point for Remix, and that is 6-3.
That is a beautiful move by Whitehead, taking advantage of, I'm going to go break side. I'm going to see my defender take a peek at the disc, and Whitehead realizing that is just going to change direction and go front cone. Way to punch that in for Remix. I think this may be an opportunity for Remix to perhaps try something new. You know, I know that they have some other tricks up their sleeves, right? And defensively, it could be something that looks like a poach look on cutters. It could be something that perhaps requires more switches on cutters or handlers. It'd be nice to see something different. I mean, we have been seeing the ability to generate turns. Maybe we want to keep putting pressure, or perhaps when they start picking up the disc, they're running a set that they're comfortable with, that they know they can punch in. Interested in seeing what happens here in the first half, and it is 6-3, so looking to see a nice fight from Remix.
We'll have Ganley here with the pull for Remix. And
that is
interception
beautiful.
by Chan from Remix.
Fantastic
Off
focus,
the
and
first throw. Oh, and an attempted save there for the disc, and it is turned.
You can hear the crowd just change energy on that defensive play. Remix is going to have to do a lot more of that to get back.
Churchland with the disc, centering it here to Menzies. Menzies up line to Rockcliffe. Looking at the deep option to Mason. Mason back to Menzies. And intercepted by Ganley. Ganley telling her players to get out of the cutting area.
Again, wonderful awareness from Remix. You know, as a defender, you're keeping your head up and checking out where this disc is going to be.
Just a little too much throw there from Bernard. We've got Kwok here with the disc from Traffic into the hands of Churchland. Menzies sending it up line and into the hands to Kwok, and that marks Traffic's 7th point there. Those were some exciting turnovers there that we just had.
I mean, Remix was just in such great opportunities to make defensive plays. I know they must feel upset seeing like, oh, hey, you know, we got the disc back twice, and unfortunately just not able to convert. This is a great timeout by Traffic. Derek Chung wanting to probably put some crossovers, put on a nice line to get to halftime.
And for those at home, halftime is at the 8th point. And I think right now we're seeing a little timeout. And timeout was called by White by Remix. Thanks to the observer tent beside us. Always making sure that our knowledge is polished, keeping us on track, and just confirming calls for us too. It's like your own translator, but observer translator.
And they always have snacks, so there's always a way to take a look at what they're cooking up there. But you know, as previously mentioned, if you're a Remix, you know, you just show that you're getting turnovers. You're getting these nice blocks. You're very much heads up in the lanes. It's a matter of just maintaining composure and punching it in. We saw some discs that were flying just a little bit too far, a little bit too low, and that could be just the nerves. That could be just the eagerness to want to score. But Remix absolutely showing that we are here to compete defensively.
We're seeing Orson and Ganley on the line for Remix again. They've been very heavy in holding the team down this game. But Orson mentioned being one of their strong and dominant handlers on, and just the central handler. Disc landing in again, rolling out.
I love the rolling pulls from Traffic. As soon as it hits the turf and it starts to roll out of bounds, you have a chance as a defense to just set up something nice on the sideline, perhaps a trap, perhaps a pin on the open side, and this puts handlers in an uncomfortable position.
Oh, with the disc here. She's looking for the upline. Sends it upline into the hand of Fung. Fung back again here in the middle. Sends it back to Orson. Orson looking for a option. Sends it to Wong. Back to Orson. Orson here in the middle. And sends it with a IO flick, and it's blocked by Wager.
And readjusting the sunglasses there from Wager. Seeing that a mile away and putting her body on the line for that defensive play.
We have Nielsen here starting. She's off to Mason, but there was a bid denied by Orson.
So from my perspective, it looked like the contact came from behind the offensive player. So the defensive player just making contact from the back there. And from my perspective, it definitely looked like it's going to be a foul.
You can see with the hand gestures of them pointing at the back as well. So I think you may be right on that one. Just a shout out to our Team Orange today. We've got Justin, Ellen, Jody, and Paul.
And for those who don't know, when you're on defense, there are something called an ultimate called taking a line. The line used to make sure that there is a play happening on the frisbee. So if I go inside line, I'm avoiding contact. If I use the outside line, I have to make sure that I'm not hitting the offensive player and making contact. Observer ruling showing that it is in fact a foul, and I do agree with that, so good call.
Thank you, Josie, for being there. All right, Mason here with the disc. She's looking to center it in the middle to Quinn. Quinn dishing it quickly. Back to Wager. Wager not seeing any looks downfield into the hands of Nielsen and sends it up line to Mason. And Mason again switching the field with the point. And that is the 8th point for Traffic, taking half into the hands of Freeland.
Again, a cross field forehand shot with the edge facing downwards on this sideline. Very hard to defend. You know, it's going away from the defense. The offensive player has to just read it close to that back cone and secure that disc. And Traffic goes into halftime here.
We'll be back with some halftime interviews. I'm Kat Fortine with Habiba Tala, and we'll be right back.
They're looking for a reason to quit. Let's give it to them.
And we're back here for the second half. I'm Catherine with Habiba Talla. We are here for the senior women's final game, Traffic versus Remix. Traffic with 8 points and Remix with 3. And we are here at Newton Athletic Park in Surrey, British Columbia. So, looked like both teams had a really intense huddle. We were a little too busy to do a halftime interview, but that's totally fair because these are the games and those talks are really important. So we have Remix here starting dark.
Traffic fired up on the sidelines. You can hear them. I mean, why not? They have the lead, so they are in control right now.
Cooksey looking for options into the hands of Bauer. Bauer looking downfield, not finding anything. Looking for Bennett up the line. And Wong there. And into the hands of O'Reilly with the turnover, and McDennett to Wager. Wager looking downfield for the Hawk, sends it up line into the end zone with a bid by Wong. Just a little out of reach there for her. We have Ho picking up the disc, telling her cutters to bring it in a bit closer.
I like the look here. You had a wide open cutter streaking deep, so great job from Traffic to test out the range.
Ho looking for into the hands of Wong. Wong to Cooksey. Cooksey up the line to Bauer with the beautiful saving bid there. She sends it up line to Ho. Ho centering it and with a little pop pass to Bauer. Bauer sends it back to Bennett. Bennett to Wong. And just a little bit of a blade there for Wong, causing a turnover. Wager picking up the disc on the sideline of her end zone.
You have a deep poach right now from Remix just sitting in the deep space.
Wager with that IO flick to McDennett. McDennett pumping it up line to O'Reilly. And I think that was a out call.
Looks like it was out of bounds. There's a double blue line, and sometimes the blue line can be very deceiving.
Into the hands of Bauer. Bauer on the sideline. Looking for Ho. Sends it over the head into the hands of Ho, and Ho saving it with a beautiful bid there. Centers it back to Wong into the hands of Bennett. A little bit. Bennett setting over the head to Whitehead. Whitehead looking for end zone options. Sends it over OI into the hands of Wong. And that is a point for Remix right off of the halftime.
Again, beautiful throwing angles from Remix, trying to break the marks by throwing something a little different, something maybe non-traditional. So a giant OI backhand by Whitehead just to get it to the front cone. Toe was kept in bounds. I do also want to applaud the fakes by Remix, right? In order to move the defense, especially the marks that are trying to catch up and set their feet. Remix throwing plenty of fakes, moving those marks, able to get their breaks out, and then find their wide open cutters downfield.
On a fun thing, I really like Remix's ribbons in their hair. It goes really well with their uniform. It matches. I'm a huge fan of hair accessories, hairstyles. They even have the star hair clips, which I found is very popular this year. Every team has had some hair clips in the shape of stars that matches their team colors. I'm a huge fan.
I mean, hey, Be Ultimate also always promotes. You don't also want to play well; you want to look great as well. So they do promote a little bit of swagger there.
Speaking of B, I'm loving the new Apex jerseys. Really great. And thank you, BE, one of our sponsors. Tuckerberry Giddens here in the middle with the disc, popping it off to Rockcliffe. Rockcliffe looking for a deep option, sending it to the hands of Menzies. Back to Rockcliffe. Back to Menzies with an attempted bid there by Law. Menzies sends it to Tuckerberry. Churchland back to Tuckerberry Giddens. 2-2. Sending it to Rockcliffe. Rockcliffe sending it across field into the hands of Menzies. Sends it back to 2. And just out of reach for 2 there. I'm really liking the pressure that Remix put in. Oh, Ganley with the disc, sending it up and into the hands of Law. Must have touched at least 3 people's hands in there. Sending it to Lacey. Lacey looking for her options to tie. Back to Ganley. Ganley telling her cutters to come a bit closer. Back to Lacey. Punching it to the middle here to Law. Law to Ganley up the line. And that is a break point for Remix with their 5th point. The score is now 8-5 for Traffic against Remix.
And you can just see the bench fired up right now, keeping themselves as engaged as possible in this game because, as you know, it's never over. There's so much time left in this game right now, and I love the punchback from Remix. They were very composed on that defensive offensive point. It started with putting so much pressure on Traffic, having to throw 20-plus throws before forcing a turnover, and their heads were very focused. They were head up when they saw that disc go in the air, and they were able to walk it to the end zone.
Now, I had this conversation with a coach the other day, but I asked in a coaching shoes, when your team is down by 5 points, like how do you get your team out of that feeling? How do you get them to keep in the game and stay pumped up and with that energy? And I was told sometimes you just really need those really good plays and take each point by point.
Oh, I just told them to go have a booster juice here in Surrey, BC, at the truck right over there. That's all I told them. No, it is a combination of every sort of variable. You know, there's no one answer. It's more like there's 10 answers that you're trying to juggle, and you're looking at priorities. I think the best thing when it comes to coaching it's what is the priority right now? What are we seeing as coaches? What is our priority to address? Is it the offense? Is it the mental game? Is it the technical? You know, are we having to change something from a tactical perspective? So it's a combination of where the weight is kind of shifting. And so Remix doing a great job of that, of staying in the game. And as we say, and I'm sure Kat will talk about this later on when it comes to soft cap and timings of the game. But right now, there's plenty of time left. And let's see if Remix can get on this break train.
I will? I'm kidding.
Keeping us entertained here.
Alrighty. We've got Rockcliffe here with the disc. Shooting it to Menzies. You have your Traffic telling her patience. Censors it back to Rockcliffe. And in the middle here to Quinn. Into the hands of Bushamay. Bushamay looking for a centering option and throws it around to Tuckerberry Giddens, but there's a pick call. So players will go back to their position, and they're just trying to determine if it was before the call or after.
Well, Remix, I believe, expressing that it did affect the outcome of that swing. I think that is the discussion perhaps they're having, or they're also discussing, is it just a catch up to the disc? Looking like just a catch up.
We have Tuckerberry Giddens that will start here with the disc. They're about right above the end zone line. She centers it to Rockcliffe. Rockcliffe into the hands of Bushamai and sends it back to Rockcliffe for the 9th point for Traffic.
Good hold for Traffic. That's one way to just stop the break train. You know, obviously Remix was looking to put more pressure, see if they can force another turnover, but very composed point by Traffic. Did see a couple of crossovers as well. We did see Nielsen on that 0 point for Traffic. Again, just adding a little bit of firepower, going to a defensive player, coming to offense. I mean, again, having a little bit more fire to secure certain points. And we could see Nielsen actually going back on defense, getting back to our defensive line here. Very normal that we're going to see crossovers in a final game. There's no other game after this, so you might as well empty the tank and go to where which player is needed right now, or what combination of players are needed right now.
Especially out here in beautiful British Columbia. And I think this will be the last series for Canadians for the summer. I always find Frisbee decompression really important for athletes, just to take a little break. And you can watch Frisbee and you play at the beach, but sometimes taking a little break is always really good too.
Absolutely. I mean, University Series in the fall is just around the corner. So if you're a player that's still in college right now, you have probably, what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks right now to decompress and get your body ready for another fall series.
Centering it here to Bennett. Bennett into the hands of Bauer. Back to Bennett. Bennett looking for Orson. Orson looking for her cutters deep into the hands of Bosniak. And just a little too low there for Whitehead. Wager picking up the disc. Wager looking at her bail. Sends it around to Sai. Sai back to McJanet. To Wager. You could hear the coach telling their cutters to not be so deep and to bring it in.
Whitehead putting a lot of pressure. She was going horizontal, seeing that, oh, this throw might come up, so I'm just going to try to see if I can put as much pressure as I can in the lane here.
Bosniak to Wong. Wong right above the end zone line, looking for her ISO cut, and just sends it a little too behind from Whitehead. I get it. Sometimes when you're above that end zone, it's just so exciting, and you just have to take a breather before throwing.
It's a great marking by Traffic to get that back.
Wager here to McJanet. McJanet. Oh, with a hand by Bauer there, causing a turnover. We've got Ho picking up the disc. Was looking to send it into the hands of Bosniak. Bosniak sending it a little bit up line there to Wong. And Wong sending it across the field to Whitehead and scoring their 6th point. Is currently Traffic 9 and Remix 6 with a 3-point lead by Traffic.
And as a thrower on this home side, right closest to our camera, thrower notices that, hey, there's so much room on that break side. If I just get this around floating just enough, the defenders are a little bit sloughed off in the vertical stack. The Whitehead was able to just reel that in and make a play.
We've got, we're seeing here Menzies on the O-line, who's been a dominant player for Traffic all game. He's been playing many points.
Catherine Menzies also goes by Chewy as her ultimate Frisbee nickname for pretty much a decade, I believe. And Kat, for our viewers who don't know, when is the medal ceremony for the women's final?
The medal ceremony for women's final is happening right after this game. So we'll confirm if we are going to live stream it, but stay tuned. And yes, it will be live streamed, the medal ceremony. Mason here with the disc. She's looking for Rockcliffe as an option, centering it back to Mason.
Huge defensive pressure on the handlers right now from Remix.
In the hands of two. Two looking up line to Mason. Mason setting up line to Menzies. Back to Mason. And to two. And really changing the direction of the disc across the field to Tuckerberry Giddens. Up the line to Mason. Back in the middle to Tuckerberry Giddens. Into the hands of Mason. Mason looking for a deep option. Centering it to Rockcliffe. Rockcliffe around IO flick to two. And two hucking it to the hands of Tuckerberry Giddens for their 10th point for Traffic. Score is 10 Traffic and 6 Remix.
So much pressure by Remix, but Traffic doing a great job of, as soon as I catch this Frisbee, I'm throwing this break or this swing a little bit faster. You're not throwing it at stall 2, you're throwing it at stall 1 or a stall 0.5. You know, as soon as it gets in your hands, you're changing the corridor or lane of which you're throwing to, because Remix is trying as hard as they can to get back to their position as a defensive player. Traffic doing a great job of just moving side to side, left to right, using the whole width of the field to secure that point.
So, coaching question. How do you
Love
stop
'em.
swings?
I mean, depending on what is going on in the actual game itself, if you are throwing a disc to a centering handler, normally we tell the defensive players, if you're about to mark that player with the disc, to take a look downfield. As you're running, you're taking a look downfield to see where can the next throw go. If I think it's going to go to the far side, well, I am actually going to attack the swing side by not going right to my offensive player, but I'm actually going to go right across 10 yards from them and then kind of reel my mark in as I see them getting the disc. And Remix trying to stop that roll. Again, I am absolutely loving these pulls by Traffic. This is a great opportunity to get them on the sideline once again. Clearly, they've been practicing these types of pulls.
We have Ho here on the sideline with the disc. Ho looking, sending it up and intercepted by Wager. Wager to Boshemai and McJanet up the line. McJanet swinging across the field into the hands of Quinn, marking the 11th point for Traffic, and that is a break point for Traffic.
Speaking of coaching, I would like to again highlight we're getting the disc on the sideline from that big, nice rolling pull. Remix, unfortunately, not able to stop it. But then the coaches of Traffic really setting up a aggressive trap, having one handler with their body parallel to the sideline. You had a player taking away the up line. You had a couple of poaches on the open side, one person deep, and then one person in the bail space. So again, covering all their bases, forcing Remix to throw a stall 7+ shot. And because all the defenders are watching the Frisbee, they're able to react fast and able to make a play on that disc.
So game goes to 15 points. And we're going to check. And just so you know, if you're interested in tuning in for the mixed finals, they will be happening at 12:30 today, right after the Women's Awards ceremony, which will be live streamed here at Newton Athletic Park.
With the one and only Clayton Hallett.
Wager here, again with her pull. Nice little hang there into the hands of Orson to Ho. Ho looking for Orson, backfield to Whitehead. Whitehead sending that up line there to Cooksey. And Cooksey hucking it deep. And Wager getting a hand out of that in the air and denying that. Wager re-picking up the disc into the hands of Ty. Ty looking for a deep option. Centers it and throws it just a little too high for Sai. Orston back with the disc into the hands of Ho. Ho looking for Orston as an option. And instead is denied by Sai with the hand block. And there seems to be a call.
So in a situation like this, if the stall down is uncontested, this is going to go all the way up here. Right now what they're discussing is if the stall is contested, it is going to be a turnover just up there. So this is more of a field positioning question with regards to where the disc goes. Just getting confirmation right now from the observers. Looking like it wasn't a stall down, but however, it did still result in a turnover, so we are getting the disc just right before the midline.
Wager sending it to Chan. Back to Wager. And Wager setting it up line and just a little too far for her, for Sai to run onto. Ho here on the sideline. Centering it to Cooksey. He switches the field into the hands, intercepted by Wager. Wager bringing it back in. And just a little too much power there for Nielsen to run onto. Ho picking it up and hucking it with a bit of a blade there for Bosniak.
Saw a fast break opportunity where we can put it deep. However, I think Traffic, realizing this by their sideline, they went immediately to start flashing that huck to try to at least force something, you know, not as far, not as concrete.
Wager up line. Recentering the disc here to Chen. Oh, great attempted bid by Whitehead. Back to Nielsen. Nielsen looking for the deep. Sends it back to Chen in the middle. Some back and forth to Nielsen. Tie here with the disc. Up the line to Nielsen. And Nielsen centering it to Wager. Wager setting it up line and a great grab there by O'Reilly for the 12th point for Traffic.
That was a long point, right, for both sides. So players having to spend a lot of energy trying to stay in this game. Traffic getting away from the break right now. They're starting to get away with this in terms of the scoreline. And if I'm Traffic right now, you know, I'm not going to call timeouts. I'm just going to keep the ball rolling. You have the momentum. You have control of this game. You are almost to 15 points. So if you can keep putting as much pressure you can on defense, you can end this game early.
Now, if you were Remix, what would you be doing then?
I was finding a way to claw back into this game, and it's going to go back to priorities. It's going to be, once again, you start with the holds. You go 1 point at a time. You start with making the passes that have been working all game. You start running your sets that you're most comfortable with. This is the time to show your best cards. This is the final. This is the last game. So if your best cards come out right now, you can get this hold, and you can get right back to put some defensive pressure on traffic.
Got a new pull from McJenna here with a great hang in the air. And it is landing now, so it will be brought to the brick mark. And we'll have Ganley here bring it to the brick mark. Ganley looking to Dressel. And traffic is putting his own here. Ganley here trapped on the sideline. And threads it through with little incident between Clay and Lacey. I think there may be a call of foul, saying that
Yeah, I'm hearing
Clay
a foul call.
might have affected her attempt to catch the disc just with a little bit of contact there. So a foul is...
And looking like a blue card on both the Remix and Traffic player.
And
Probably just for the contact, right? Level of contact. Again, it is a non-contact sport, so we want to keep the level of contact as low as possible. There's always incidental, which means that contact that doesn't affect the outcome of a play. But your goal as a player, as per the rules, is to avoid contact at all times.
Unlucky there with Ganley being trapped on that sideline. McJanet sending it up line into the hands of Clay, and Clay sending it over and just bobbled in the hands there of our player on traffic, Freeland. We have Ganley here. And we have traffic melting their zone, going to person defense. Ganley centering there to Lacey. Into the hands of Ganley. Looking at our wide option of Si Chung. And there's been a pick call.
Just getting a little bit congested in that kind of other third near the away sideline, near the crowd.
Punching it up line here. Martin with the disc, sending it to Ganley, who saves that. And she, with the beautiful backhand break into the hands of Grimard for the 7th point. Score is 7 Remix and 12 Traffic.
Way to punch that in for Remix. That backhand, it was thrown from a low position, but it had just enough float and just enough spin to hang and make its way to kind of near the back of the end zone for the Remix receiver to make a play. I'm a huge fan of crowd energy, and there's just a lot of fans getting cheering in the stands here. And this is what we would like to see. We'd like to see the community get together after so many games have been played at CUC and cheer on all of these final games here.
Actually, speaking of fans, there's a beautiful poster for Remix for their coach Bennett who number 4, Emily Bennett, who coached also the junior cannons this past week.
And it's so fun to see that, you know, our junior program plays before the senior program. So a lot of coaches who are also playing, seniors, get a chance to coach for 3 days and then play for 3 to 4 days, which is ends up being a long week. But I mean, this is an awesome game. So
Menzies here with the disc in the middle. She shoots it upfield into the hands back to Mason. Mason throwing it to Tuckerberry Giddens. Traffic just above the end zone line into the hands of Mason here. Mason looking for Menzies and just a little too high for Menzies to grab there.
could be a big momentum swing if Remix gets a chance to complete this break.
We'll have Ty here pick up the disc. And we're seeing some horizontal here from Remix. Great save there by Ganley in the air. Throws it around with Menzies getting a finger on that. And some dribbling with Remix into the hands of Lacey. Lacey to Fung. Back to Ganley. And grabbed by Martin. Back to Ganley. Ganley hand blocked by Nielsen.
Nielsen moving her feet on the mark there, anticipating that that backhand around was going to come out.
Nielsen to Mason. Mason sends it up in the air for Churchland to catch, and that is a point.
That was aired out beautifully.
Remix 7 and Traffic 13. I do have to say, I really liked Remix's flow that they had in this point. They really had a great job working up the field, and just those give and go passes are so fun to watch.
So for those who don't know, dribbling, Turbine Ultimate, not like basketball. You cannot throw the disc on the ground and hopefully it comes back up for you. But when you throw and follow your pass and you're able to catch and immediately release, we call that dribbling. And so it allows the backfield players moving upfield at a very high tempo, high pace. We've seen a lot of high-paced offense in this women's final so far. We've seen a lot of dribbling in general with a lot of, depending on the style of play from different teams. Dribbling is an absolutely great technique that we could be using on offense.
So those at home who are looking to tune in for the senior mixed finals, you will be seeing Goblins from BC versus
You got Goblet and Blind Bunnies.
Blind Buddies. Yes, both BC teams, which apparently Blind Buddies is a remake of another BC team.
Oh, and again, Traffic electing to go with that, again, rolling pull to the sideline so they could set up their trap. That's exactly what they've been wanting for the last couple points now.
Ho with the disc here. She's looking for a back option, sending it to Ho. And Traffic melting their zone and creating a defensive play here. Into the hands of McJanet. McJanet looking for an end zone option and looking for a bail. Sends it around into the hands of Ty. And Ty sending it up and scoring their 14th point to Cy.
I love the quick pickup from Traffic, immediately grabbing that disc, seeing if there's a fast break transition opportunity. It is looking like we have a timeout call from Remix. And just to stop the pace a little bit right now, reset as Traffic has 14 points. They're knocking on the door of a CUC championship.
And just so you know, we are 20 minutes before the soft cap, so there is some time for Remix as well. So with a timeout being called like that, what would you be telling your team in a timeout if you were the coach of Remix?
If you're Remix right now, every point that you have is a point for us, you know? This is where we have to live the moment and take advantage of every point we're given. Reason why is that this is your season right now. This is the last game of your CUC. You've had many months of commitment, many months of training, going to tournaments and getting reps together, and this is one of the last times you're going to be seeing this group. So right now you're focusing on enjoying the moment with your teammates, capitalizing, putting on a show for your program. Right, you are both champions. You know, whether you're first or second, you are on the podium. So this is what we came here to see.
All right, we'll have Wager here pulling for traffic, and we'll see if we see that roll pull.
Again, I'm liking it. I think pulling is a huge advantage in Ultimate. If you can have a pull that is either hanging enough, just enough, so that you get them in the defending red zone, or if you have a roll pull that gets it to the sideline, this is where Remix has to field the pull, or when you stop the roll. There is such little width on a frisbee. It's not very thin, and so if it goes right between your legs or it passes right through your leg, you got to make sure that you can at least field it. Put your hands down, get your legs kind of in a horizontal motion, kind of like a soccer goalie, preventing the ball from going into the net. If you can stop this disc from going to the sideline, you're going to prevent them from setting up their trap. Speaking of pulls,
Back of the end zone there. Ho here with the disc. Just looking for an option. Pops it back to Gantley. Gantley sending it to Lacey. Centered back to Gantley. Far side to Ho. Looking for Gantley in the middle. Ho getting a little bit of yards there and trying to send it up line. Sends it up line to Gantley. Gantley then Wager there intercepting that throw to Lacey.
Wager having a game right now defensively. She has been absolutely all over the disc. She's contested a lot of close shots.
Fun fact, Wager went to Australia. She did mention that to me when I saw her for Team Canada. All right. Vong here with the disc on the sideline. Sends it back to Chan. Chan looking for Nielsen. And it is intercepted and denied by Martin. Remix really putting up a fight here. Ho here with the disc. Back to Ganley. Ganley looking for upfield options and sends it to the middle to Ho.
Traffic calling a lot of switches right now in the cutter space.
Ganley looking for her cutter options. Centering again to Ho. Back to Ganley. And sends it up line to Ho for her to run onto. Getting a lot of yardage here. Back to Ganley. Ganley hucks it deep to the end zone with O'Reilly denying that for Whitehead.
Big time plays happening in this women's final from both teams.
We've got Nielsen here with the disc, who centers it to Vong. Wager looking for the deep option, not finding anything. Sends it back to Nielsen, centering it to Wager. Sends it to the far side. Recenter to Wager. with swinging the field to Chan. Chan looking to Nielsen. Nielsen here on the sideline, up the line to Wager. Wager just above the end zone line, looking for some break side action. Sends it in the middle here to Chan. Chan in the middle, breaking her mark for Wong. Wong back to Chan. Great grab there by Wong in the middle. Back to Chan. And play is continued. Nielsen in the middle. And break side backhand to O'Reilly and scoring the last and 15 points for Traffic. And Traffic wins the senior women's final versus Remix here for the 2026 CUC's Surrey, BC.
Honestly, a statement win from Traffic. Their offense has been on fire this entire tournament. I would love to see how many times they got broken in this tournament. Honestly, they've just been very much able to get the disc back. If they do turn it over, they've been connecting with a lot of their cutters. They've been putting up big shots and making big plays. Credit to Remix for getting onto the podium this CUC. This is a great final.
Okay, Habib, I love doing this, but I'm going to ask you, what was your player of the day for each team? I'm going to start with my favorites. I really, really enjoyed watching Orston on Remix. Really dominant handler there. Very consistent with her throws. And on Traffic, a big name that really stood out for me was McJanet, but also Wager.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going through this list here, so many players had incredible games. And I'm going to go with Quinn, number 12 for Traffic. Just technicality when it comes to throwing, understanding how to make a play in the end zone, making great reads. I'm going to give that one to number 12, Quinn. And for Remix, and I'm very much defensively minded. I think Ganley had fantastic marks throughout the entire game and was able to show that, hey, I'm going to move my feet. I'm going to make these passes very hard. So shout out to Megan Ganley for having a great game.
That was a great game. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kat Fortin and Habiba Tala. And we just want to let you know, again, this women's final award ceremony is being streamed. So please stay online if you want to see the ceremony. And then again, a nice friendly reminder, our mixed finals is going to be here at the field at 12:30 p.m.
Thanks, everyone.